Hey everyone, welcome to Two Car Pros. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to gather and erase ABS trouble codes and get that pesky ABS light off your dash for good. So getting rid of that ABS light is essentially what you need to do is find out what is causing it. And how you do that is with a decent scanner, such as this one. A scanner like this has a greater capability of looking into the entire can of your automobile and going into the ABS side of the ECM and being able to see what the ABS problem is and why a light might be lit on your dash. A normal scanner usually doesn't have the capability to do that, so you do need a decently high-end one. The order of operations today is to scan our vehicle, see what the problem for the ABS is, fix that problem, clear the codes for the ABS, and then see if the code comes back. If it doesn't, you know you've done your job correctly. If not, just repeat the troubleshooting steps. So your ABS problem might not be exactly the one in this video, but the process to fix it is exactly the same. So I hope you'll follow along. With all that out of the way, let's jump in. So here's the dashboard of a 2005 F-150. You can see that the engine is on. There's no check engine light, but look at that. It has an ABS light. Now on newer cars, it might say traction control and ABS, or just traction control. So any kind of light like this is a signifier that we need to plug a scanner in. 99 times out of 100, this is where your OBD2 port is going to be located. Ours happens to be right here, but sometimes they're located over here on the left underneath where the emergency brake release is. Sometimes they're on the side pillar here, or sometimes, like on a Mercedes, they're underneath a cover and you have to release the cover to get to the port. But ours is right here. So then we're going to take the OBD2 part of our fancy scanner, and you do need a decently fancy scanner. We're going to plug that into our OBD2 port. It only goes on the one way. There we go. So we're going to take our key, put it in the ignition, and turn it to the second position. So you'll feel click once, and then click twice, just before you start it, but do not start the engine. And you'll see all the lights coming on, and that's what we want, so we know the ECM is turned on. Alternatively, if you have a push button style ignition, just push the ignition button. If the lights don't all come on, push it again, but don't put your foot on the brake. And the key fob needs to be somewhere in the vehicle. You just want all the lights on the dash to come on. So our scanner is nice and plugged in. It's come to life and you have this nice screen here. Now, as far as what you need for a scanner, you're going to need one that says it does ABS trouble codes. And those are typically a little bit pricier. I've seen them for about $180 on Amazon. I'll try to leave a link down below in the description to one of those. This unit is more money. It is an Autel Maxicom MK808. This is about $500, but I do think it's worth the money for all the different functions that it does do. No, I'm not sponsored by Autel. I paid with this with my own money. I just think it's a nice tool. So we're going to go into diagnostics. I'm going to push this button up here to make the scanner do the work on finding the VIN number and making sure that it loads the correct program in. We're in the USA. That is our VIN number. That is all correct. We're going to push auto scan. So it's just going to go ahead and scan the entire CAN system, the ECM, but we're looking for that one, ABS, fault 1. So it has detected a trouble code, so there's a problem there. So it looks like we have a couple of fault codes, but the only ones we're interested in today is our ABS. So I'm going to go into that submenu, and I want to see what that says. Read the code. Okay, so right here it says left front wheel speed sensor input circuit failure. So we know that's where our problem is now. So this gives us an indication of where to look. Let's check out that sensor. So now I have our wheel off and our brakes off. I didn't show how to do that because it's different on every car, but what is the same or very similar is the wheel speed sensor. It is right here on the hub. You can see it's held in with this Allen headed bolt, and the wire runs like this all the way up to your computer, and it'll be a plug there. What we can do right now is inspect this wire for damage. Is it okay? Is there a big hole in it? Did a rat chew it? Did a piece of wood off the freeway claw it out? Not on ours, but it might be on yours, and that's something to look for. In that situation, I would just go ahead and replace the sensor. Since I don't see any physical damage and I'm really certain that this sensor is the problem, I'm going to go ahead and put a new one in. Another super common problem is this hub itself is the problem. Think about it. While this is spinning, it has a reluctor wheel that the sensor is picking up. Now, if this is off slightly, one way or another, the reluctor wheel won't be picked up by the sensor. It's especially prevalent if you start turning a corner and the ABS light comes on and then you straighten out and then the ABS light goes off. That's how you know that your hub is probably your problem. But since this one's brand new, I don't think that's the problem at all. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my wheel speed sensor. Mine happens to be a 5mm Allen here. Yours is probably different, but the process is exactly the same. Remove our fastener. then we can remove the sensor itself. It might fight you a little bit because there's an O-ring in there, and we'll just pull that out of its home and get it out of the way. So the next step is to unplug it. I have already done that. You just follow the wire all the way up to where it actually plugs in, and there's a little safety, and you depress that and pull it out, and you're made in the shade there. And then you might want a body clip tool, link down below in the description, and this is handy for getting these funky little clips out of their homes, just like that. And then on mine, you just gotta spread these clips apart and get that wire and sensor out of there. So here's our new wheel speed sensor. These are available everywhere. I do recommend getting them as your OEM. This is a Ford truck, so we got the Motorcraft one. This is the OEM level sensor. I do not advise buying cheap junk ones. You're just gonna be replacing it in about a week. So we can go ahead and replace it. It's really simple. So we can go ahead and grab our sensor, orientate it correctly, and you might feel it fight you a little bit. That's just that O-ring. That's why we lubricated it. There we go. If you're wondering what we use to lubricate it, you can use engine oil, WD-40, any kind of grease is fine. And we're going to start this Allen by hand, and then I'm going to snug this down. And before you utter the word torque specs, I don't have one. I'm just going to do wrist tight. These don't need to be, oh my goodness, tight. That right there is plenty. Now we can route our cable exactly the way we had before, or wire, however you want to look at that. And just making sure that it, connects on to things so it doesn't get in the way while you're turning. There's little provisions for that. That looks really snazzy. Check that out. And then just take this piece, this little body clip piece, and put it into this hole, like that. Then we're going to take this and feed it up to where we initially got our first wire from. Because we know the connector's up there somewhere. We'll find it. See, I told you we'd find it. There's the connector, there's where I fed it, and you just put it in its home so you hear that nice clicking sound, and our sensor is replaced. So now we're back at our scanner where we were before, and what we're gonna do, since we are pretty sure this sensor was our culprit, is we're gonna escape back to this menu, and we're gonna hit our race codes. Ignition on, engine off, that is correct. That is going to be deleted. That's perfectly fine. Because we have fixed our problems, we can erase the codes and we can verify that they are in fact erased. No fault codes detected, so I'm pretty sure that was the problem. So if that was the problem, the fault code won't come back, the ABS light should stay off. If it wasn't the problem, the ABS light will come back on and we need to restart our troubleshooting process, but I think we're made in the shade. And our last step is to back out of the scanner submenus and then just turn it off. And then what I do is just come unplug the OBD2 port and then turn off our ignition. So if you have a button, you just push it until the gauges go dark with your foot off the brake. But if you have a regular key, just take it out like that. And our job is all done. So that is how to reset an ABS light or gather the trouble codes and erase them. Get that ABS light off your dash and out of your mind. Also, getting that ABS light off ensures that your ABS is functioning properly, which ABS is an essential part of your vehicle's ability to stop in an emergency situation, so it's pretty important that it works. Thank you so very much for watching. If you found this video helpful at all, please consider becoming a member, joining down below. It's a way to help the channel out directly. Also, if you could subscribe and like the video, I would really appreciate it. It helps me out a whole bunch. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.